Thank you for joining us for Pet Connect. I'm Tara Douglas. I've asked two of our volunteers for the Feral Dogs of Avondale Mill and the Sylacauga Animal Shelter to join me today on the show. So I've got Lynn Averett and Michelle Smith. Thank you both for coming on the show.
You're welcome.
Lynn and Michelle have bonded over one particular dog at the shelter. So we're going to talk about that dog and also two other dogs from her litter that are still at the shelter and need to be adopted. So let's get started about Kimberly and her brothers. So Michelle, you and Stan, your husband, found this litter of puppies.
Yes.
So tell us what happened that day and how you found them.
I think there were several people that mentioned they'd found puppies out at a drainage ditch in that area, and we were just, my coworker from work, actually, we initially went out the first day and got most of them. I think we had to leave 2 or 3 behind. We couldn't catch them. And so we had the resources, we had a foster lined up, and so we, set some traps and got most of them. And then my husband went back with me several days later, and we were able to trap them and get the last few. But one, I think, did end up getting run over or was killed in between that time.
So how many puppies were in that litter that were dumped?
7.
7. Okay.
Initially, but we only were able to get 6.
Okay. Because it's not uncommon with the situation with the shelter. We can have dogs that are dropped off at the shelter. We can have people see puppies. Unfortunately, right now, there are a lot of calls of people seeing puppies on the side of the road.
There isn't a day that goes by that you don't hear about dumped puppies or kittens.
That's unfortunately the truth. And with the foster system, we'll talk a little bit about that. We've got the foster situation where the shelter asks for help, or the Feral Dogs of Avondale Mill can find puppies at the shelter. We also get contacted with Feral Dogs of Avondale Mill, but then also we have situations where people just spot those dogs and try to do something and help.
And we would do that more often if there were more. There's just too many puppies. There's not enough fosters. There's not enough rescues. They're filling up, and there's nowhere for them to go.
It is a tough situation. And let's talk just a moment about the foster situation, because you and your husband foster puppies regularly. You've never fostered kittens, have you?
We have.
Oh, you have you? Okay, so you've
have.
done dogs and cats. So let's talk, and Lynn has also fostered Kimberly, the dog we want to talk about today. So let's talk about the foster situation, because it is helpful to have more people foster.
Oh,
so what is that process like?
Well, we started out with just a litter of puppies that we came across in our area that we found in the road. And they were under the last litter program, but they weren't being cared for properly. So one of the volunteers talked the owners into surrendering them. So we took them as fosters. That was our first experience. And then the second experience was my husband found a litter of kittens on the job site and brought those home.
Okay.
And then the third he found at a job site. They were puppies.
And so it begins.
Yes, and that's where it began. And once you get involved, it's hard not to.
It is, 'cause
it's a lot of work, but it's so rewarding. And once you do get involved, you see the need is there, and it's so great. It's hard not to be a part of it.
And it is so rewarding to see these puppies or kittens go to rescues or find homes, and it makes it so worth it to be able to help with that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we're talking about Kimberly in particular. So one thing that often happens with the litters is that we will start naming them. That's Kemp right there. We'll name all the puppies or kittens in a litter with the same letter as the first name. So we've got Kemp and Kobe and Kimberly that are still left. There's Kimberly.
There's Kimberly.
That are still left from this litter that Michelle is talking about, that she and her coworker and her husband rescued the 6 that they were able to get.
It's Kobe.
There's Kobe.
Oh,
so let's talk a little bit about Kimberly. I know, Lynn, you know Kimberly the best out of all of us. Lynn is a regular dog walker, and she actually decided to foster Kimberly as an adolescent dog and bring her into her household and help her get.
She's about 10 months old. She's been at the shelter since that she was rescued, and they were the last 3 that's left of the litter that hasn't went to rescue. And so she was paralyzed in fear. Paralyzed. You could bring her out, and she would just sit there, and she would not move. And I just decided to take her home with me one day and see what I could do. And within 2 days, she was so much better. All 3 dogs were a little shy at first, but they warm up to you real quick. I'll tell you about Kimberly. She loves, loves, loves other dogs. she is just like, I'm Kimberly, meet me, I want to play. And she's a lab mix. They're all lab mixes, but she looks more like the lab mix, and the other two look like whatever the other mix is. I don't know. But they're all three beautiful dogs, and they're all three very good dogs. They're running out of time. And that's just the nicest way I can put it. But, you know, with these dogs, they would make somebody a great pet.
They
Kimberly, I know, needs a place where she can run. She loves the water, and so does Kemp and Kobe. They'll just go lay down in the water. And
we've got a great spot at the shelter.
Yes.
So for those of you who haven't been out to walk dogs on Saturdays from 11 to 1, we've got a wonderful water spot next to the shelter where we can take those dogs out and let them play in the water and really see who loves water, who doesn't. You know.
Now, Kimberly's already spayed, and she knows how to live in a crate and sleep in a crate. She doesn't mind. You know, she's doing very well. What I encourage people to do is, you know, if you don't want to come out and walk dogs on Saturday from 11 to 2, it is a great time to come meet dogs. When they're not in their kennel, when they're out and they get relaxed and they're walking and they're playing, and you can see exactly very close to what you'll get when you get home. Like I said, when I took Kimberly home, she turned into a different dog within 2 days.
Absolutely.
And then she went to For the Love of Dogs dog training with Meredith Dempsey, and she kept her for about 3 or 4 weeks, and it was just phenomenal how far she came. And she's still doing well, but she still needs a home, and so does Kemp and Kobe. And, you know, they just have won my heart, and if I had a place for them, I would have them. But, you know, learning quickly, you can't save them all, but these dogs would make great pets. Now, there's a lot of dogs at the shelter that would make great pets.
Absolutely.
But these 3 dogs, if you already have dogs, they're great with other dogs. They love them. Look at that.
I know. He's so cute.
How can you not?
And if people would just give them a chance, because you know, a lot of times the solid black dogs, the solid brown dogs are very hard to adopt out because people want something, what they consider a special looking dog, and these are beautiful dogs, but they're overlooked.
Yes,
and like you were saying, Lynn, if you come to the shelter to meet a dog, you know, you go around and you walk in the back, but those dogs are in their kennels. You can't see their personality. They're overexcited. They're so excited to see a person
Every
coming,
dog in
and
there's barking.
they'll be barking and jumping, and it's a stressful situation for the dogs.
Right.
So if you can get a dog out and get the opportunity to walk them or to meet them while other walkers are walking them, you really say, now Kemp, he's just a lover. I mean,
he likes to hug.
I mean, he's hugging the volunteer right there, and he's just enjoying himself. And you see how much they love people, and you know, most of them get along great with the other dogs they meet as we're walking around, and you know, you got an opportunity to really see their personality, and such a unique opportunity with Kimberly, because Lynn, you were able to foster her, and then we have the Meredith Dempsey. You know, Michelle, what she sponsored, didn't you? Sponsored Kimberly to be able to go and stay with Meredith.
The work that Lynn had started.
And so,
and I'm not by any means, you know, a dog trainer or anything. I just took her home and gave her love, and that's all I did. And that it just takes a little bit of love.
And it takes a little time.
A little patience, because you got to consider this dog, when you adopt it, has to decompose. It's been in a shelter environment, and now you're taking it into a home. And they need to learn the routine of that home. They need to learn, you know, inside and outside manners and things like that. But you know,
every dog has to learn inside and outside manners, regardless of age.
And you know, Kimberly and Kobe and Kemp have been there since they were
nearly their entire lives.
Yeah, their entire lives, and. So they are dying and thirsting and craving human attention and human love, and they deserve it.
Absolutely.
I mean, I have 3 other dogs and a cat, and Kimberly was in my house with all of them all the time. She never, ever, ever offered to hurt anything, not even the cat. So, you know, I just think she'd be good with cats, and I believe she'd be good with children too. Now she's a little excitable, you know, because she's got that lab in her, but she would make somebody a great dog.
She would. All 3 of them would, and especially in an active household, because they are. I mean, with some lab mixed in, they're going to be active, and they're going to want to play. Now, Michelle, you came out and walked dogs.
I did.
And so that was the first time you've been out to do that. So what was your impression being able to come out?
I was thrilled. It was a great experience. I will try to do it more often.
It's
so rewarding, and they enjoy it so much. And the few that I had were so well behaved. They're just so excited, and it's great to see people out with their kids. It's just a great.
And that also gives us the opportunity when people come out to walk to have people from all walks of life, so to speak, so that we can see how the dogs react to walking, to kids, to the other dogs as you're walking around. It gives us so much information.
Mm-hmm. All the walkers have what they call their favorites. I mean, you come out there and you just fall in love with them. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're like, why are you here? You know, you're a great baby. And so, you know, it's a very rewarding experience. I want to start, you know, taking them out on the town and taking them to get, you know, a pup cup and to walk in the park and things like that. And that's something I'm working on right now. So
that's great. And the shelter in the past has had a program called Doggy Day
That's
Out, where you could and come in and get them. And I know they've halted that because we have not had a manager, but the city council did vote 4-1 to bring in Stephanie Engel as the new shelter manager. And from what I understand, that'll be starting May 6th.
Yeah.
So, you know, my hope is that with the manager back at the shelter that we can start doing some doggy day outs and some different things, because that would be a great way to let the dog decompress some and see their personality. Even if you didn't want to foster one and bring it into your home for a few days, if you're not able to do that, you can at least go by and take a dog. And you know, there are places like Starbucks that'll give them a cappuccino and you know, different things that you can do, and just walk them around and let them experience the world. Something besides their kennel at the shelter.
Yes.
Absolutely. So we're going to do everything we can to get Kimberly, Kemp, and Kobe to find homes, because the rest of the dogs have gone to other rescues. So, you know, thank you so much, both of you, for coming on and talking about fostering and dog walking, and the K-litter in particular, so that we can find them a home. So coming out to the Sylacauga Animal Shelter, we're there every Saturday from 11 to 1 to get all of the dogs out. And like Lynn was saying, she had a great idea. Even if you don't want to walk a dog, come out and meet the dogs, or come out and pet a dog. Do whatever can fulfill your day and make the dogs have such a happy day.
And bring your family. See how it does with your whole family. I mean, you know, you'd be surprised. You'll find something. If you're looking for a dog, you're going to find a dog that fits your needs. I promise you. There's all different kinds.
Absolutely. And if you're interested in fostering, like Michelle and Lynn have been talking about, please contact the Feral Dogs of Avondale Mill. You can message us on Facebook, or you can email the feraldogsofavondalemil@gmail.com. Thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you, ladies, again for coming on the show.
Thank you.
And we'll have more Daybreak after these messages.